Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Up Supercast Game Club. My name is Brandon, and I am your host. And joining me today, I have Ills. And I have Noah. How you guys doing today? You don't sound all right.
I'm having a great time, actually. You know, I played this game at night last night. It's a good time.
That's good. That's perfect, actually. You know, I decided to ask, how you guys are doing, because I know, Ills, you really don't like that question. Some would say that it might be a nightmare to you.
A little one. A little nightmare.
Not a huge nightmare, but a little nightmare. Because that's exactly what we played this time. We played Little Nightmares for the Nintendo Switch. So it was released on a whole bunch of things, actually. We'll get to that in a second. But Little Nightmares video game was developed by Tarsier Studios and published by Bandai Namco. So it was released on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on April 28th, 2017, and was then re-released on the Nintendo Switch May 18th, 2018. And apparently also it's available on Stadia. So holy fuck, I think this is the first game we played here that you can play on Stadia. So all the Stadia fans.
Stadia representation, we're here.
Yes,
we got you covered,
finally.
Guys.
This game, you guys played on Nintendo Switch. I played on the Xbox One. I bought this game when it came out, and one of those things that you buy a video game and you never play it. So I bought it. I hadn't played it until now, but you guys got the Nintendo Switch version, which was the complete edition that came with the DLC as well.
Yep.
So I did not have the DLC. I would have had to buy it separately. But I did. When I bought it, actually, I got it on sale at Best Buy for cheap. And this is when I had Game Club unlocked, so I was able to buy it even more of a discount. And I got the 6th edition. So it came with a little 6-figure. It came with a soundtrack, and it came with some stickers. Just kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have any loading issues on the Xbox?
No.
How long did it take for you to load after a death or something?
Half a minute.
Yeah.
Really?
It took so long.
Yeah,
on
that's
Switch.
Complaints.
It did not happen on the Xbox version. It was
very annoying.
10 seconds maybe, because the one I was also playing it on the One X, so it got even more of a boosted load time. So I was playing it on the.
Yeah, I figured it was a Switch thing. It was a real pain in the ass.
Damn,
for sure.
That sucks. Yeah. I didn't even know that. Well, on the Xbox version, it's maybe 10 seconds at that. So yeah, Little Nightmares. I chose this game. Main reason. I always thought it looked cool. I bought it when it came out. Never got around to playing it. I mean, I was like, I got to get around to playing it eventually. So that was my main motivation for choosing it. And I did have it on my list. It was a little bit further out. But I was like, it's October, it's Halloween. I kind of want to pick a kind of a spooky kind of horror game to play. So I moved it up a little bit. So yeah, Little Nightmares is basically it's a puzzle platformer. And a horror game, and you play as a little girl named Six, and she wears a raincoat. Can't really see her face. And when we say little girl, we mean little girl, because you're real small. And
she's 9 years old.
Is she 9 years old? Okay.
Yeah, according to canon, yeah.
Okay. Well,
they came out with comic books for this series.
Oh, they did. I didn't even know that. That's
really?
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's actually pretty cool. I had no idea. So I want to mention real quick, Tarsier Studios, the developers of this game, they've worked on a few things before this. Most notably, they worked on Little Big Planet DLC. They worked on all 3 Little Big Planets. They weren't the main developers of 1 and 2. I guess they co-developed and helped with the DLC. And then they also co-developed the main game of Little Big Planet 3. They also worked on Tearaway Unfolded, and
Tearaway's a pretty good game.
Yeah, I've heard it's a pretty good game as well. And then they made Little Nightmares, and they also recently made a game on the Nintendo Switch. In fact, it's actually a Nintendo published game called The Stretchers. It was released.
Oh,
on
they
eShop.
made that?
Yeah, they made that game.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's like a co-op. Like you play as like these people doing with like a stretcher, and, like,
EMTs.
ambulance.
Yeah.
EMTs. So yeah, they developed that game, and then their upcoming game, they're actually making a sequel to Little Nightmares, which another reason why I kind of want to play it even more to try to make it topical, because Little Nightmares 2 is coming out February 2021. So
Yep.
that's cool.
And it still has the main character from this game.
Yes, it does have Six in it. Although I did read that you don't play as her.
Yeah.
She is like a AI controlled, but she's with you during the adventure, so that's really cool. So in this game, it takes place in a place called the Maw, which is like this big cruiser ship. Like, I don't know if it's a luxury cruiser. It's a very big ship, and it has a lot of different things going on. So I'm gonna assume it's a cruise ship.
Yeah.
It's got buffet halls and kind of like rooms that people stay in. And has like a prison for some reason. It's got a lot going on. It's a very, very big ship, and you wake up from a nightmare, and you see like a geisha, and then you wake up and you're like in a prison, kind of, and you're trying to escape from this ship, and along the way you find monsters, really terrifying things. And you have to kind of solve puzzles. There's a little bit of platforming, a little bit of puzzle solving.
It's a lot like Limbo and Inside.
Yes. Yeah, that's a very good comparison, actually. And originally in development, this game was actually called Hunger, before they changed the name to Little Nightmares, which makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food issues in this game.
Yeah.
And eating in general.
Yeah, there is. And there's definitely a lot of comparisons to be made to those two games, because those are very similar, where they're kind of pretty much puzzle platformer and like kind of physics based. I would say like those games definitely, those other two, Limbo and Inside, definitely lean more on like physics based stuff than Little Nightmares does.
Yeah.
But I would say Little Nightmares is definitely in the same line, like kind of inspired by those games.
Mm-hmm. Same kind of perspective, side-scrolling kind of horror. Horror
More
genre
of
with intense imagery.
Like, yeah. This is like, I think those games are completely 2D, so this has a little bit more depth in it because it's 3D.
Yeah.
Nah, get it? Depth because it's 3D.
Look at that. making jokes without even trying. So yeah, I mean, God, now you fucking, I lost my train of thought because of that. So I don't want to like explain too much of like the story. I just want to leave it open because I kind of think that people should play it in a way.
Do you want to do a spoiler section later?
Maybe, I don't know. Do you guys think we should have like a spoiler section? Because
probably like a small, yeah.
It wouldn't. I don't think it would be long, but
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, going through the ship. I mean, there's a little bit of puzzle solving. I want to say visual wise. Actually, I want to talk about visual wise first because, we said like the gameplay is kind of like Inside and Limbo, but I think visually this game obviously stands apart from that, but is very much like kind of Tim Burton inspired. It almost looks like claymation too, in a way.
Like the faces of like the characters, and like later on, like the passengers, they look like blobs. Yeah. It kind of reminds. It kind of has like a claymation type look to it, but I think visually, I think this game actually looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely fits in with the atmosphere and the mood that we're trying to go for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that's done by the lighting mostly. Like obviously, it's a very dark game. Like there's not a lot of light sources. You have like a lighter to flick on and off when you need to. You have to hide in the shadows sometimes. Sort of like the motif they're going for. Yeah, and it works. I think it works pretty good for that. I think it looks. It's a horror game, so usually darkness is a big thing when it comes to horror games, anyway.
But yeah, they I do like going through the a lot of vents. You going through a lot of like vents and stuff through the ships, and you always have to kind of like flick your lighter on to like be able to see what you're doing.
Yeah. I like the design of like how the lower ship has like, it's almost like a nursery for like little kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then as you go up into the ship, you go into the kitchen, you find out what they're doing with those kids, apparently. It's just like, apparently they're eating them or using them for meat. It's pretty unsettling.
There's a lot of, for sure. No, go ahead, Ilse.
No, I was just saying, like, a lot of this game revolves around the character's relationship to eating and hunger. Like, you're a little kid running away from this horror show and at the bottom of this ship, and eventually you get like hunger pains all throughout, and she starts having like crippling pain in her stomach. She needs to eat something. So the first time, like you get like bread from another kid, and that's all well and good. But as the game progresses, you get more and more, I don't know, just like brutal. you eat like more and more things that aren't too good for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of reflects, like, you become more monstrous because of the environment that you're in.
Right.
Or she does.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it goes from, starting with that, like a piece of food, to also the next one. I don't want to talk about the last ones, but the next one is like, you eat like a live rat that's stuck in a trap, And,
well, before that, you eat like something in a cage, and that's how you get trapped by the janitor, the guy with the really long arms.
Yeah.
And then you eat a rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first saw her eat that rat, I was like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I didn't expect that, So I was like, that was really, it was like visually too. It was just like, ugh. And yeah, you mentioned the guy with the long arms, the janitor, and to me, I think the like enemy designs are also very cool. The janitor particularly, I thought was very creepy. Just the way his like arms were, just these long, lanky arms, and he's like really short, and he's blind, so it was a cool in terms of like gameplay where like he's blind, so he can't see you, but you have to like stay quiet. And then, but he'll start searching around with these long arms, like when you're trying to pat things down. And I thought that was really cool. And you can only hide so many places because even up high, sometimes he'll reach up on top of things to try to feel around. So it was cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think he's the most memorable of the antagonists in the game. Like, he's definitely one of the creepiest. Him and the passengers, I think, are pretty close to him in my mind. But he's just like, he lets out a scream every time he hears you, and he just runs over there with like his fingers all like crawling over the floor, about to reach you. Like, he can grab you from almost any vantage point. It's really annoying, but I mean that just makes him a good enemy to try to avoid.
And I, like, speaking of, like, running away from him, particularly one of my favorite things in the game, I really like there's, like little chase sequences here and there where you have to run away from the monsters or the pursuers. And those parts I really liked a lot. They were honestly, like, left me, like, with my hands sweating a little bit. It's like, God, I gotta get away from these things. You don't want to get caught by him. Because, I mean, apparently on the Switch version, you really don't want to get caught.
Yeah, you really don't.
Oh, no, yeah. For how often you die in this game, the loading screen really was frustrating. I literally counted it was like a half a minute every time you died, and then you spawn, and then you die like a couple of seconds later, and then you have to wait another half a minute again.
Oh, that is annoying. Yeah.
It was even worse. Like, I played a little bit of the DLC, and it's a little bit more puzzle-based, but it's like... with water sections, and man, it's so easy to die in those sections that it started to drag because of the loading time. Obviously, that's not the game's fault. That's how it runs on the Switch. It's not the best version of it.
Right. It was developed by Engine software for the Switch, so they gave it to a different developer to do the port. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It's probably also the Switch off is not as powerful as.
I mean, the Switch runs Breath of the Wild. They fucking made a bad port. The Switch.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, the Switch can barely run Rumbo somehow, which is really stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a really bad.
Sometimes people just make shit ports when they bring it to the Switch. I don't know. They just don't. Maybe they just didn't put the effort in.
Yeah.
Visually, does the game hold up on the Switch though? Like,
Yeah, it still looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because it's one of the games. Like, I just really like the visuals a lot, and I thought it was stated out.
Yeah, you were talking about the chase sequences.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's the best part of the game. Like, running from the janitor is probably the best. And then running away from the passengers, because later on, you get to near the top of the ship, and you have to run across their tables, and they're trying to catch you to eat you.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. Like, man, those parts were crazy, because I really love this part in the game where you finally escape the bottom of the ship and you're crawling along the side, and you realize that it's not like this self-contained horror show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the whole world is this cruel. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not just that you're trapped in this horrible place. Like,
Right.
a whole line of passengers just stream into the ship, and then you have to face them because they're just as bad.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're terrifying too. They want to eat you. They want to eat everything. Literally, they just want to fucking eat. That's all they want to do. They're these huge like blobs of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the visual of running across the table and all the guys like grabbing at you, trying to grab you, and you have to kind of like zigzag between them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're throwing bottles of wine and stuff. I absolutely loved that. It was really cool.
Yep.
And then the end part where they're all just like, it's like an ocean of them just crawling at you.
Yeah.
Piling up like a wave.
Yeah. And you wouldn't expect them to be so fast, because the first guy who like falls down, he like kind of falls like on the ground and just starts crawling, and you're like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Haunted Ground taught me anything, is that people on the ground crawl really fast sometimes.
True. Yeah, that escape sequence, that chase sequence was really, really cool. And like it ends with you like jumping on, like swinging away from on a lamp.
Yeah.
Like at the last second too, because I felt like I got caught the first time, and then the second time I felt like, okay, I pretty much nailed it, but they were like right behind me still.
Mm-hmm.
So it really like leaves you at the edge of your seat trying to get away.
Yeah, the game does a good job at making those situations really tense. Like it's really engaging. Those are the best parts for sure.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of downtime in between when you're going around, which is kind of good. You know, you go from a heart race and chase sequence to like, okay, now I'm kind of alone. Let me just walk around and explore. There are collectibles throughout the game as well. There's these little like glass like porcelain doll things that you can break that count as a collectible, and there's also gnomes around that you can save and apparently hug as well after you save them.
Yeah. In the DLC, when you hug a gnome, he kind of becomes your partner for a little bit. So it helps you like solve a puzzle.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, like the DLC is very much more puzzle oriented than the main campaign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually prefer like the DLC a lot more than the actual campaign. Like even at the ending, I preferred the ending of the DLC with the kid. You basically you play as the kid, one of the kids that is captured that's in the nursery instead of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to go through. Surprisingly, I thought I was gonna go through like the same areas, but no, you go through completely different areas. You go in the first chapter, you go through like the sewers, like Ills mentioned, and there's like a water monster man thing. I don't know what the fuck it was that chases you.
Its name is the Granny.
The Granny? Oh god. Okay. So yeah, that you go through like swimming water puzzles, trying to figure out how to take care of the Granny and get away, and then you encounter, what was that? The second part. The third part is like, I know is like this huge, like, well, not huge, like a little mini mansion area where you have to find these little statues and to bring them to this one room, and you kind of a little bit of backtracking here and there, but it's like just one giant puzzle area where you have to like finish puzzle after puzzle to collect the items and bring them back.
That's neat. That's different because the main game doesn't have a lot of like backtracking. The most it has is like getting a key and like going back to a door you saw.
Yeah.
And
I would say
there's go on.
I would say I like the DLC less. I didn't play all of it. I played like the first 2 sections. I did not like the water section at all. It's just so slow. Like, the movement is already slow because in these kinds of games, in horror games, you know, in this kind of perspective, it's always slow to build the tension, basically. But when you get into the water and then you have to try to climb out of the water and there are things chasing you, it's so annoying.
I noticed with the grabbing mechanic in general, like, there were a bunch of times where either I would, even though, like, especially in the area where you're fighting the janitor and it's in the elevator, and there's, like, this cage, like, the elevator door's trying to close, and this cage that's in the doorway stops it from closing all the way. So the janitor extends his arms and tries to search for you, but he can't come in. So at that point, you have to, like, break the cage open or rip it apart so the door can close. So I died there a lot because I was trying to grab the front of the cage. It was in a weird perspective, like it's in a 2D perspective, obviously. And the cage is like in the middle of him with his arms. So you have to grab the front of the cage and pull it out like multiple times. But sometimes when I would try to grab the cage, she would grab like the corner of it, like either the back or the front corner, and nothing would happen. Like I would try to pull and it's like, obviously it's not the right spot. But it was really hard to like pinpoint that like area that you need to grab. So like I constantly got caught there for a while. And like I noticed that like with when you need to like drag or pull items, you have to be like more accurate than you think.
Yeah, you do. In the DLC when you're fighting the granny, you have to move this TV at the end of the first chapter or whatever. Oh my god, dude. Like it just would not move. Like,
really?
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I pulled it like multiple times, multiple ways. I died like 15 times there because the TV just wouldn't move.
I just pushed it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, it's weirdly inconsistent.
Yeah, it's the grab mechanic.
Yeah,
but
it is a little bit, and I do agree. And I will say there was a couple parts where like because you were moving in a 3D space, there's like a part where like, you know, just random parts where you're walking on something where you could fall, and like I'll just accidentally fall because I'm pushing like not, you know, I'm pushing a little bit to the wrong way and I'm not walking in an exact straight line.
But
and
it's
because it's a 3D it's a 2D like perspective, but you can move in 3D, and I just kind of like and I just walked right off that ledge. You know?
Yeah, and then sometimes while you like I get it, like the camera kind of shifts a little bit, like in a weird angle, just to make it more tense. But that shifting kind of fucks up with your movement because you're going a straight line. All of a sudden, the camera moves. You're not walking in a straight line anymore.
That's an Eddie game. Yeah, with fixed perspectives, that definitely always happens, which is like kind of annoying. Yeah.
But I also wanted to mention, like in the final chapter of the DLC, they added, besides like the puzzle elements, there's like a weird enemy encounter, kind of like a puzzle, but more like you have to like fight them off. So you have the flashlight instead of the lighter with the kid. So you have like a beam of light, and then these shadow figures that are like part of the geisha's powers, they appear, and like if they touch you, you die. Like they lunge at you, and they're your size. I don't know if you guys got that far. Well, I know Brandon didn't play the DLC.
No, I didn't get that.
And you didn't get there. So they're like the size of you, like basically your height, and like they appear from the wall. Like they come from multiple directions, like in front of you, behind you, all over, and then you can get swarmed very easily. It's like 3 or 4 at a time sometimes attack you, and you have to shine your light at them to like blind them and like disintegrate them. So you have to aim your flashlight while you're like trying to avoid them at them, and it's like really like it was really intense and like scary because they constantly like chasing you, and there's no light around you. You can't really see them that well. You hear like their noises and such, and you have to shine the light to actually see them and stop them. It's like it was that last chapter of the DLC was like my favorite one by far.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I kind of wanted to play the DLC, but I beat it like Thursday night, and then I was like, I had plans Friday night, so I was just like, I can't. I'm not really gonna have enough time. and I would have had to pay $10 for it. Which isn't a lot,
God.
but that's also more than you guys paid for the entire game.
Yeah, for the entire thing.
And I also paid. I had already paid like $30 for the game when it came out. Like
$30. Holy shit.
yeah. Well, I bought the like complete edition or whatever with the figure and the stickers and everything. So like, I bought that. It was physical, so it was everything was it was like $30 I think when it came out. But it's the normal price for the game on the eShop. I'm pretty sure is $30.
That's a lot.
That's why I told you guys it's on sale. Yeah, because the game itself, it's not a long game. It's about maybe 3-4 hours, maybe 5, depending on how long it's taking you to figure out the puzzles. But it's on the short side for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not gonna run you a long time. So that's probably why
I remember what the second chapter was about. Sorry. The second chapter is like working together with the gnomes to try and solve puzzles.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
like that. Yeah. That was also really good. Like befriending, like you have more interaction with the gnomes than you do in the main campaign too.
You do, yeah.
It was really cool. Like working together.
More about the gnomes.
And they introduced a lot of new mechanics with them. Like you tossing them up to like catch a door, and like you like tossing multiple gnomes up to pull a lever that needs like a lot of weight to be pulled. So you toss up like 3 gnomes so they could pull down the whole level to open the door for you. It's like it was really good.
It seems like they put a lot of effort into the DLC, which is really cool.
Yes, they did.
I don't think it's as good like story-wise, like
Probably
visual
not.
storytelling of the original game. I think is a lot better. But yeah, I think the gameplay mechanics are really good.
But the ending was brutal, like really good.
Yeah.
I think the ending. I mean, not to talk about spoiler, I will just like say in a broad way that I really liked the ending of this game as well. I thought it was really, really cool. Like, it really stood out to me. I was like, wow, I'm actually, this is really fucking cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, I always like when they end with like a big, a big pop, a big moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Inside does this too. Like,
yeah,
it's insane what happens in Inside. This one is a little bit more like a good, I guess. I guess you could say good.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, you don't become. Never mind. But yeah, I enjoyed it a whole lot, and I like the final boss fight, if you can call it that, with the lady at the end of the original.
The geisha,
Yeah, I thought that was actually really cool too. It was well done.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting imagery going on. Like, it seems like every character is wearing a mask. Like, even the butchers are like wearing masks, but they look like, it seems like they're wearing a mask of their own face, because when they move their mask up, it doesn't look all that different.
Yeah.
No, I noticed that when I was in the chef in the kitchen, like they would randomly eat a piece of food they cut or something, and it'd be like, oh, they have a mask.
Yeah.
I don't think the people that were eating had masks.
No, I don't think they did. Yeah. But the lady has a mask, the butchers have a mask, and I guess the janitor has a mask, but it's like half off.
Yeah, it's like his like bandages over his eyes because he's blind. And also, I mean, maybe that's like a kind of a theme of the game, because you can wear and unlock masks to wear. And speaking of, in the Switch version, you can use the Pac-Man amiibo to scan it in and unlock a Pac-Man mask, which is terrifying, by the way. It's not just Pac-Man. It's what Pac-Man would look like in this game, in this art style. And it's very scary looking. And Pac-Man also makes a lot of sense to be in this game, because Pac-Man, if there's one thing about Pac-Man, is that he likes to eat. And so he fits right in with the world, which is cool that they did that.
Should mod the game to make all the passengers Pac-Man.
My random thought about the butchers looking the way they did, maybe is like if they were wearing that mask, they were trying to fit in with the passengers. Because that's kind of what the passengers look like, and they didn't want to get eaten by the passengers. So if we look like them, I don't know, maybe. Also, random side note, apparently there's going to be a television series about this.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw that. They're going to be producing a television series about Little Nightmares. I don't know, like, if it's going to be a Netflix series or what exactly, but that's actually pretty cool. Like, they expanded on this universe a lot more than I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, kind of neat, because within this game, even just the main game, not even the DLC, they built, like, a intriguing world. That it's kind of cool that you'd want to, like, learn more about.
Yes and no. I mean, I like that everything's left so mysterious. So when you kind of flesh it out, you kind of take away some of the mystery of it, and that's part of the fun for me.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But I mean, if people like it, people like it. You don't have to read it, I guess.
Yeah,
or
read
watch
the comic book or watch the show, which I didn't even know there was a comic book of either. So that's cool. Also, again, there was also a mobile game called Very Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
And that game was a prequel to this game.
Mm-hmm.
And you play
also
as a girl.
Star 6.
No, it actually doesn't have 6 in it. It has a girl wearing a raincoat that you think is 6, and because I read, and then at the end of it, her raincoat, like she presumably drowns, and then her raincoat floats up, and you see 6 find the raincoat, so that it's like presumed that 6 got that raincoat from that little girl. So it's like a prequel. It sets up to this game, which is cool. I didn't even know it was a thing. And I looked it up, and it is available on iOS and Android, but it's not a free game. You have to pay like $6.99 or something for it.
Developers are eating.
Oh. You know, maybe it's maybe it just doesn't. Maybe it costs money because it doesn't have microtransactions, and it's actually like a video game, which is cool. Also, if you sign up for Google Play Rewards, they send you surveys that you can sign up. You can just fill out random surveys every once in a while, and they give you free money to your Google Play account. So you can easily afford that game.
Are we sponsored by Google Play now?
No, I'm just saying. I have like $12. I was thinking about buying it because I had like $12 based on from all the surveys I did, and I was like, maybe I should just pick this up.
There you go.
Yeah,
you found one.
Finally. I usually use it in game purchases for like Pokemon Go and shit. I just want to briefly mention too. I think the sound design was good and the atmospheric like music. I didn't notice a lot of it, but until the final moments of the game, I was like, this music is really really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, I wanted to mention how good the sound design is in this game. Like, yeah. I mean, it's par for the course. Anytime you have a horror game, you need good sound design. And this game absolutely does it well. Like, you hear the heartbeat speed up whenever an antagonist is near you, like the janitor or the butchers. You hear like the janitor's breathing, the heavy breathing, and like, oh man, his screaming. Every time you make noise, like you hear that, like because you're so focused on not making noise. So you hear him like react to the noise you're making. It's pretty fucking intense.
Yeah, during him especially, I really liked the turn the TV on to distract him to run away sequence as well. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, the great thing about that sequence is that you hear the TV all the way until you're on the other edge of the room where you're supposed to get to. So you know he's still distracted until you start turning the crank, and then you hear him scream and come for you. Yeah, so that's really neat that like you feel safe the entire time, but you know something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah, as soon as you get to that crank, turn off. As soon as that TV turns off, you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good like game and sound design for both perspectives, which is really cool. And they did a good job with just all the just the monsters in general, and then they sound. Like when they're alerted, they all have like unique sounds. Like the geisha kind of screams, and like the butchers like they sound like elephants or you know. And that just like you just want to run. And then when I noticed when you're going through the hunger fits, I'm like I was like, is that my stomach? Like it really sounds like a fucking stomach like gurgling. Like I'm like, damn, I feel like I'm getting hungry. Just listening to it, it was really cool. Like you almost feel her pain because like of how hungry she is.
And the lighting changes, and you move slower. It's very good.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I think I covered everything I wanted to mention. Do you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about?
I just wanted to mention that this game reminds me a lot of the Studio Ghibli movie, Spirited Away.
Mm-hmm.
They both star like young girls. They like the witch in Spirited Away looks kind of like the humans. They're like stretched out and grotesque. The janitor reminds me a little bit of the Boiler Man. The Mask of the Lady reminds me of like No Face's mask.
No Face, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. I wouldn't have thought about that. All right. Well, let's get into recommendations. I'll start with me. I will say, Little Nightmares is a brief but very cool. It's a very cool horror game. I would say it's a horror game that's honestly, one that you don't. I feel like a lot of people could play it. Like, it's not so terrifying or so difficult like that it could turn people away. I think that it's got it finds a pretty decent balance of being scary but also being approachable. None of the puzzles are too difficult or hard. I think that overall it's visually is very good, and I think it's appealing to a lot of people. And I would say it's a very good game for this time of year, because a lot of people want to play horror games, and it's very short, so it's like you can kind of bang it out in a night or two. And I would say overall, yes, I would definitely recommend you play this game. All right, Ills.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game a good deal. Like, kill sequences very like gruesome. Like, it's always like you're caught, but like nothing happens to you really.
Yeah, you get eaten, or Noah said you get thrown into an oven one time.
Yeah,
But...
I got caught by the butchers once, and they just walked over to the oven, opened up the door, and just
one of them threw me into a pot. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
No, it's not gory.
Right. Yeah, there's really no gore. All right, Noah.
If you're a fan of the other games like Limbo and Inside, you definitely will like this one too. Can be a little bit disturbing, but nothing. If you have to be extremely faint of heart to get really disturbed or traumatized by something like this. So, but it is horrifying in a sense, but still tame. Yeah, and the puzzles are decent, especially in the DLC. They're much better. They're really good too. Maybe I would avoid the Switch version if possible, because those loading times are bad. They will hinder the experience, because you will die in a lot of segments, multiple.
If you have another option, play it on the other option.
Yes.
Wonder how the Stadia version is.
Probably the best.
Probably the best. Yeah, you're right. The Stadia is the best. That's what
we love Google.
That's what we say here on constantly. Yeah, we do.
Sponsor us, Stadia. Google.
Give us money.
So with all of that being said, it's time to take Little Nightmares and put it on
the list.
The list.
You can follow along with the list in the Pastebin link that I put in the description below. And on the list, every single episode of the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, we take what game we played and we add it in there. So it's a list of games ranking from best to worst. And they're just constantly adding games and figuring out where they go within that list. And we also add games every episode of the normal Jump Up Supercast. Every week we add a game. So to keep up with the list, you got to listen to everything. And we have re-ranks once a quarter. So 4 times a year we have a re-rank. And we move games around that we think are wrong. But right now we're just talking about Little Nightmares and the list and where we think it deserves to be in this plethora of video games. So I start with who picked it. So I guess I'll start with myself. And looking at the list, where do I think it should go? My first thoughts is, oh man,
this is hard.
I wish I thought about this.
I can tell you what I'm thinking right now.
Okay,
Below Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. That's at 99.
99. Yeah, because I was looking around the hundreds. Okay. Yeah, because Brothers Tales of Two Sons is a puzzle platformer as well. and a very unique and very cool one. Like that game.
I do think the impact of Brothers is a lot stronger than this game's.
We didn't even mention the ending, but whatever. Play the game. It's very short. The ending's very cool
nothing
in this game.
Nothing like all that. Like, you don't need to explain anything that happens in the ending. Like, it just happens.
Yeah, it's just really cool. It's just cool. I would say this game is better than The Missing in terms of being a puzzle platformer as well. They both kind of are.
Oh, The Missing was like a little more creative with the mechanics and such.
Yeah.
With the puzzles.
Yeah.
But
it had more jank to it.
That's true.
There's a lot more jank in The Missing. Yeah.
The Missing also has a better ending, just like
Brothers. Yeah. And what's up with puzzle platformers? Just having good stories, you know.
You love to see it.
They really focus in on that. You do. You love to see it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was already looking around that area, honestly. And I think in terms of because there's Silent Hill 2 10 spots above that, but I think Silent Hill 2 is like a staple of horror and is just really good in terms of psychological horror. So I would say should be above it.
Can't beat the map. It's not even a map in this game.
Cannot beat that map.
It's no contest.
True. Not that you need one, but it's true. Okay. Yeah, I don't hate that spot. I don't know. Have you played Brothers?
No.
Okay. What about Castle Crashers?
I definitely played Castle Crashers.
Yeah. No, I mean in terms of you know, because you look past Brothers at that point, and then you would say.
I was actually looking into put it lower than what you guys are talking about. So, I was gonna put it at above Sonic All Stars. I guess that's not that big of a difference.
It's less than 10.
No. Yeah. No, I like that spot actually. I think that's a good spot. No, right below Brothers.
All right.
All right. Cool. So that puts Little Nightmares at number 100 exactly on the list. A list of 219 games now. 219. So it's pretty much right in the middle of the pack. Not saying that it's a 5 out of 10 because this list is very top heavy, by the way. If you're looking at it, there's a lot of extremely good games and not a lot of bad games on the list. So it's very top heavy. But Little Nightmares comes in at number 100, and surrounding it, number 98, Castle Crashers. Number 99, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. 100 is now Little Nightmares. 101, The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories, which is a Game Club game that we played. So you can listen to that episode. And number 102 is Snatcher, which is also a Game Club game. So there's a couple more episodes if you want to check those out, where we talk about those games. And I will say, both of those games are pretty good. If not, great. I'd say pretty good. I don't want to give them too much credit. But that is the list. That is that portion of the episode. So we're going to wrap things up here, but don't shut it off yet, because I got a couple things I want to talk to you about here. Because if you did enjoy the Jump Up Supercast Game Club, make sure you check us out on your favorite podcast listening service, whether that's SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, or many others, where new episodes of the Game Club go up every other Thursday, as well as the Jump Up Supercast that goes up every single Monday. We just talk about game news. We add games to the list, so make sure you check that out as well. Give us a follow, give us a like or a share. Feel free to comment below and tell us what you thought about Little Nightmares. Have you played Little Nightmares? Do you want to play it now? Are you looking forward to Little Nightmares 2? Let us know. We want to talk about video games, so talk to us. Hey, and if you do like this podcast so much that you just want to show us even more support, we do have a Patreon. where $1 a month can get you the chance to choose one of our game club games every round. So we'll get to it in a second here. Ills is going to pick a game, but after Ills picks, after we play his game, then it's a Patreon pick, and we're going to raffle that off. So you can get the chance to throw a game that you want us to play out, $1 a month. You get access to our Discord as well. That's where we do all that, and you can talk to us about games and all that sort of stuff. And if you want to watch us play some games, you can follow us on twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast, where we play video games there. We've played Fall Guys Season 2 the other day. We played Among Us recently. Hopefully we'll be able to play that again soon. We're just playing games. So if you want to follow us there, you can. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for social media and to stay up to date. We post when episodes go live. So do that if you want to just stay on top of everything. But before I go, Ills, like I just mentioned, it's your turn to choose a game for us to play. And what game we playing next?
All right. There's a very distinct lack of Mega Man on this list, and I think we're gonna play Mega Man X Command Mission, the Mega Man RPG.
Oh shit! Nice.
I haven't played one of the RPG ones.
I have this on my list, so that's exciting. Because I always wanted to play this game.
What system is this for?
GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, I believe.
Ooh.
Yep.
So cool. Well, we're gonna be playing Mega Man X Command Mission. And we're going to talk about that when we get back to you guys next on the Jump Up Supercast Game Club. Make sure to follow us and check us out so you can know when that episode goes up. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Ills, and thank you, Noah, for playing games again. Just most important for everybody out there, just go out, play video games, be nice.